juror filled out, apparently the juror wrote they were unsure if they could be fair. But the juror said they would listen to the court's instructions on this. Nonetheless, the juror was excluded. But Nima, this tape, so problematic.
That he said he's not sure if he could be fair. Now that jury is supposed to be excluded from jury duty. He said he's unsure, but he'll listen to the instructions of the jury. Now, this is the thing. Somebody said, I heard people. This guy told me, and then I just seen the headline say celebrity names dropped. When people go get selected for jury duty, they only accept the jurors that don't know anything about this case, meaning they don't know the complainant. I mean, the defendant. They don't know him anyway, in form or fashion. That's bias when someone knows this individual, and it's gonna be hard for them. I only can see them having like a jury full of elders. It's gonna be very hard to find individuals, you know what I mean, that don't know who P. Diddy is. And then listening to some of this stuff is ridiculous. Now, I never thought about this, but they just said this right here. Check this out. They said,
for jury selection, right? No question, because like you said, typically when you walk into that courtroom, you haven't.
Matter of fact, I wasn't gonna show the visual. I was just gonna play the audio, but I'm finna go to the video so you can see. But I'm pretty sure anyone that's familiar with Sean Combs, seen the infamous video of him jumping on Cassie Ventura. Like, he was jumping on Cassie, one hand, like manhandling and being aggressive with Cassie, while the other hand was holding on the towel. But get this, it was always said like she was trying to escape when he was in the shower. But now they saying this. I guess it's come out, and this changes your perspective of what's going on right here. It does. It truly does. When I heard it, so I know it would change other people's minds, because when you hear something, it persuades your thought. It's like a seed when you plant it. This, when you plant it in the soil, the thought grows just like a plant, just like a flower. It grows and it blooms until, But they planted the seed saying they planted the seed back then saying he was in the shower and she was trying to escape when she was in the shower. But now they saying it was actually during a freak off that she was so disgusted that she tried to run up out of there.
Seen the evidence in the case, but this is not your ordinary case. Everyone has heard about Sean Combs. Everyone has seen that video. It's disturbing. It is offensive. Like you said, he's holding his towel with one hand. He's beating her as she's trying to leave.
Sorry, let me put the visual up.
Welcome to Amex.
Max savings.
Max savings is
saving you that dollar. They just save all around.
That's the argument.
Just watch.
Welcome to Amex.
Max savings.
Max savings is
saving you that dollar. They just save all around everything.
We want to save you time.
time so you can get back.
To be put forward by the prosecution. Well, what happened? You got a juror today who reportedly told the court, yeah, they saw the video, and despite this juror saying they could be fair in court, saying that in the court today on the questionnaire that this juror filled out, apparently the juror wrote they were unsure if they could be fair. But the juror said they would listen to the court's instructions on this. Nonetheless, the juror was excluded. But Nima, this tape, so problematic for jury selection, right?
No question, because like you said, typically when you walk into that courtroom, you haven't seen the evidence in the case. But this is not your ordinary case. Everyone has heard about Sean Combs. Everyone has seen that video. It's disturbing. It is offensive. Like you said, he's holding his towel with one hand. He's beating her as she's trying to leave. How can you not form an opinion? So You have jurors that generally have views on these issues. Then they're bringing their preconceived beliefs about the case because they've all seen the video. And this is one of those unicorn type cases that everyone has already heard about. And there's video.
I'm trying to the allegations were up before. Dang, she came with the lawsuit after the video. So you can imagine like what she felt at that time. Okay, the allegations about these free calls were, they were leaking. They were seeping through the cracks, and it was like they don't have a stronghold on this secret any longer. It's starting to leak out to the public. Then you have this video come about of him assaulting her in a hotel room, not letting her leave, you know what I mean, and forcing her back into the room against her will. Then the lawsuit comes, and it comes, after this video has surfaced. So it was like, okay, the video is humiliating, and then it could. But they say she who was it? Oh, Kim. They say Kim kept a diary or something, and I think Cassie was privy to it. But let me take it back just a step before the mentioning the diary. But Cassie with the security thing, it comes about, it hits the public. You know what I mean? It makes its rounds. Then is it a few months later? I want to say it was a couple months later. The lawsuit come. Well, I can't think of what they call it before it actually hits a lawsuit. They let them know that we're gonna bring this lawsuit against you if you don't settle this matter before it hits the courts. You can settle out of court or whatever before it, we put it in the court proceedings. He didn't do it. He didn't put a wrap on his thing. Bam, a lawsuit hits. It goes public. Then everybody start coming out the woodworks. You know what I mean? All this stuff coming out his past.
Video evidence, and I expect there to be even more video evidence in the case. So whether it's a case like this,
that's the thing. Is it gonna be more video evidence? Is it gonna be other things? It's gonna be a lot more that comes to the surface that the defense just has, loaded in their gun. There's so much ammunition that we haven't even heard yet. That's to come. It's coming. You best believe it's coming. And that's why he messed up by not settling out of court before this thing hit, before they filed this lawsuit, this defamation. He should have just kept this thing under wraps, and now, you know what I mean? But everybody gets their day, Everything comes to the light.
Sir Luigi Mangione, we've all seen the video. Brian Koberger with the bathroom selfie. The jurors that walk into that courtroom, they're going to have prejudged the evidence. So if they say that they can't be fair and impartial, either in their questionnaire or an open court, it may be hard for the lawyers to rehabilitate them, right? Because if you're a lawyer in the case and you think it's a bad juror for the other side, you're going to want to try to make them seem fair and impartial to force the other side to use one of their peremptories, not give them excuse for cause, because of course cause challenges are unlimited.
And we're going to talk about peremptory, I promise. Anybody who's interested in it, we're going to get to in a second. But as a former prosecutor, I wonder if the prosecution is not happy about that tape being published by CNN. Could you imagine if jurors saw it for the very first time at trial? And by the way, the defense tried in pretrial motions to get that tape or a version of that tape or any footage stricken. They didn't want the jurors to see that footage, but a version is going to be shown to them, or multiple versions in different camera angles is going to be shown. But as a prosecutor, do you think that they are like, oh my gosh, I wish that tape didn't come in, we're having trouble finding a jury, or because you're so cynical about jury selection?
To start a podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept and a way to record it. Here's how it works. First, go to riverside.fm and open an account, and then you'll be able to capture high-quality video and audio from practically anywhere in the world. When it comes to
Diddy
editing,
has
Riverside
been
is
a
perfect for
star
beginners.
for
Even
so
if you have
long. It
zero
has to be at
experience,
least
you can
30
use their
years,
AI
like since
tools
the
and intuitive
90s.
editing features to
Yeah,
create a
that's 30
professional-looking
years.
result.
If we just said
You can get transcriptions
95
automatically and use them to
now,
edit like a doc,
is that 30?
or you can
Yeah,
use
that's
the
30
chapter
years.
timeline feature, which makes it
That's
way
a very
easier
long
just to
time.
skim and scan. Ready to share? Well, it's
I'm gonna
okay if
say,
you don't
P.
have an
Diddy is
audience yet.
not-
Everybody starts somewhere.
It's
And Riverside
superstars,
has
just
perfect
more
tools to help you
household
grow your
names
audience,
than
like
P. Diddy,
live
like
streaming if
Snoop
you're
Dogg.
into
So
that,
let's just say
or you
Snoop
can use
Dogg
their
is on
AI
top,
tools
so.
to create
Ain't
automated
no
short clips
way
that you can
could
post on
go get
YouTube Shorts,
somebody and they
Instagram
don't
Reels,
know
and
who Snoop
TikTok
Dogg
to
is.
increase your engagement. Your podcast
If
really
you
is
take it
just
down a
one
couple
click away with
decimals,
Riverside.
you
Just
know
bring
what
your
I mean,
idea,
for
we'll do the rest.
superstardom.
Try it now, it's
Like
free.
Snoop is probably up here. P. Diddy is somewhere up in here. You know what I mean? P. Diddy is somewhere up in here when it comes to like superstar, like in comparison to Snoop. Snoop is like, ain't no
I
way
just
in
won
the world you gonna
$60,000
find
from my
somebody
car
who
crash
don't know
from this
who
app
Snoop
from my
Dogg
phone.
is.
I don't know if you could see it, but
Snoop
it's
Dogg's
called Case
success
Connect Compensation
is just
Calculator.
as long as it's probably
It's for
35
$60,000,
years.
and I'm about to go
Snoop
cash it
debuted
in.
probably 1990, maybe,
For those of
I
you who
think
don't know
93
what Case Connect
with Deep
is, it
Cover
is one
and
of the
Drake.
largest.
Do you think the prosecution's like, we're happy that tape came out, and I hope we get jurors who have formed an opinion. They're just not admitting it during jury selection.
I think it's the latter. I get it why you want jurors who haven't seen the video, but it's such a disturbing video. And just you and I have talked about it. If you guys are watching, go back and watch Jesse's videos when this came out in May of last year. And it's such a powerful video. It was such a powerful video that after denying these allegations for months and months and months, from November 2023 when Cassie filed their lawsuit, Diddy's homes are raided in March. Only in May, when this video comes out, Diddy issues an apology. That's how powerful the video is. So the cynic in me, if I'm the prosecution, I like to overwhelm the defense, and I
wish we could really have. Hey man, I wish we could see not these portraits. And this the thing. Like I seen somebody say on a comment. This the thing I want to put out here. I see somebody on the comment say, man. They say this case is really taking a toll on Diddy. They talk about because he all gray and they like, man, he's aging horribly in there. Let me say this: Diddy is probably what 50 plus or 50 something. But this the thing, and I seen a video of another individual. I'm gonna name him in a second. These guys, like Diddy, has never been in. I'm gonna just say like the other guy's been in jail, but Diddy, prison. The other guy's been in prison, but Diddy has never been in confinement. He's never been incarcerated to the point where his hair has repeatedly grown out. If he cut it, it's grown out again. This the thing. When you're incarcerated, jail or prison, there you don't have access to hair dye. So you're seeing his natural growth. You're seeing his natural color. His hair didn't turn gray over the years. Like you see how the beard is gray, the hair is gray, and you have a little black in here. If they was able to show the visual for his Manhattan court doesn't allow press conference in there, so we will have no video. We will only have sketch artists. That's how they play it in Uptown New York. Like Manhattan, the courts, they don't play the press up in there. So the public will not be able to have visual of P. Diddy until after this thing is over with and he's like walking out the court. You know what I mean? This, or we'll see like his mugshot if he was to go to prison. You know what I mean? They take the picture for his ID. We will probably see the mugshot, and then we will see his true, appearance for his how he's, the hair dyed, the beard. I mean, the hair has gray, the beard is snow. You know what I mean? But people are seeing this and they saying, man, he's aging bad, bro. We don't know how many years Diddy has. His hair has been white, gray, snow, whatever you relate to for this description of his hair being white. he has access to hair dye for so long. Now, if you remember, years ago, Diddy wore a little gray, like right up in here. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, they just showed. Let me see. He used to have right here. Is it this one right here? You can see right there. It looked like a collet, but Diddy used to rock the little gray. So he's been gray for years. And then I've seen Diddy where like he's on his off day where he don't have no event to attend, and he had gray strands in his beard. And it's funny because I was just what was I shared the video. I liked the video. I don't want to switch course because I was gonna do another video on this individual, and I think I'm gonna just say it. I mean, save it for that. I said I was gonna name the other individual that's gray, but this individual is incarcerated, so you seen his gray. But I think since last year, I want to say last year he was released. Recent release. He did like 20 years, 25 years, something like that. I'd say the name is Big Meech, but you seen that he had grays in his, you know what I mean, in his facial. Not too many in the hair, but in his facial. And I wanted to show this visual of him and his son in this video. I would be doing it on a live stream next because I said I wanted to speak about it a little bit. So I'm gonna say that for the next stream. But let's get back to the Diddy thing.
Version is going to be shown to them, or multiple versions in different camera angles is going to be shown. But as a prosecutor, do you think that they are like, oh my gosh, I wish that tape didn't come in, we're having trouble finding a jury? Or because you're so cynical about jury selection, Nima, do you think the prosecution's like, we're happy that tape came out, and I hope we get jurors who have formed an opinion, they're just not admitting it during jury selection?
I think it's the latter. I get it why you want jurors who haven't seen the video, but it's such a disturbing video. And Jesse, you and I have talked about it. If you guys are watching, go back and watch Jesse's videos when this came out in May of last year. I mean, it's such a powerful video. It was such a powerful video that after denying these allegations for months and months and months, from November 2023 when Cassie filed her lawsuit, Diddy's homes are raided in March.
Hey man, I remember when I was young and I used to see like John Gotti, Donald Trump, whatever. I used to see people in these Manhattan courts, but it was never a visual. You know what I'm saying? Never audio. Never video visual of these individuals in these courts. It was always through the sketch artists, and the sketch artists always did they draw them kind of funny. You know what I mean? They always drew them kind of funny. You'll see them in the newspapers or whatever, but they drew they like head long or they chin extra long. You know what I mean? Things like that. Yeah, I've seen various individuals in Manhattan courtrooms, uptown, and they had these sketch artists drawing them. And they always used to appear so funny, you know what I mean? It was like the sketch artist was doing it on purpose just to, make it animated, appear more animated, if you will.
In May, when this video comes out, Diddy issues an apology. That's how powerful the video is. So the cynic in me.
It does got a long face right there. If you
Cassie filed her lawsuit.
Like, look at the face.
Diddy's
right
homes
there,
are raided in March. Only in May, when this video comes out, Diddy issues
him. Look how his face is long.
Apology. That's how powerful the video is. So the cynic in me, if I'm the prosecution, I like to overwhelm the defense, and I like the jurors to basically be on my side before the defense even presents their case. I want them to have made up their minds. And when you have a powerful video like this from the prosecution, I like it out there. I know it can potentially taint the jury pool, and this is me as an advocate, not for someone who's looking for, the fair and just result. The fair and just result is everyone walks in with a blank slate, right? They view only the evidence.
Right. I like that. I like that. That's what makes this so different with these celebrities. Well, no, not with the celebrities. With evidence that hits the mainstream media. That's the difference between other people cases and P. Diddy case. Like when the evidence, they have video evidence of, miscellaneous acts and, violence. It's displayed right there on it's a visual for you to see. How is you gonna be able to tell a juror not to be biased or hey, if you seen that video, don't take that. You know what I mean? Basically, erase that from your mind. Act like you never seen it. Don't be. I need you to not be biased when hearing this case and the evidence. Just go off of what you heard here in this courtroom. Say if the video never was played in court, but you seen it 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Because they play it so much. This case is so high profile. How could you erase that from your memory? How could you not be biased? How could you come to the decision and without this being considered? It's impossible. It's impossible. I just don't see it happening. Me being honest, if I seen that tape, I would be taking that into consideration. I'd be thinking about it. I would be trying to decipher it. Like, okay, they told me from the beginning that this the media commentators is like, oh, she was running from trying to escape P. Diddy when he was in the shower. You know what I mean? She seen an opportunity to get away from him. And we probably don't know all the other countless encounters that they had, and she tried to escape. Whether she was successful or whether he, held her against her will. This one, we actually have the video. Not her saying this happened. You know what I'm saying? Not like these other people that's coming with these allegations that he did stuff in the past. We have some type of proof that she was trying to get away from him at best. If it's nothing for sex trafficking, we seen that he was holding her against her will. We seen that he assaulted her. And it was very degrading, humiliating. It was disgusting to see his behavior. You got a person that basically promotes his character, his lifestyle, his persona, his mannerism. Everything is basically projected into his brands for him to sell these items, this Ciroc, this Revoke, this channel. You know what I'm saying? Sean John Clothing, the Bad Boy brand. We got a person that's like, I'm doing this, or you live this way. He tried to play, and then on top of this, just to bring it to a head, if that didn't make sense, when I say he's promoting this character like it's an upstanding character, it's basically like a role model in a sense, or when a person becomes a mogul, it's kind of like they did everything right to achieve this ladder of success. This individual, this what I wanted to say when I say if none of that makes sense. When I say he's selling this persona, this character, he changed his name to Brother Love. Brother Love. You selling me a person that goes by Brother Love, does disgusting things like this. He does vicious and lashes out at violence and attacks an individual that he says he loves. If you say you love this person and you treat them like this, I can imagine what you do to the other individuals that you encounter on a daily basis that you become, more than acquaintance with. You let them come into your world. You take them out on dinner. You let them travel with you, go on tour, whatever. I can imagine how you was with these individuals when you didn't get your way. But I'm gonna say this. During Making the Band, Danny D. Kane, I think. Danny D. Kane. You could see the impression that he had, not by way of his words, but by way of L'Oreal Gibson. If y'all remember L'Oreal Gibson, and the things she used to say about P. Diddy, matter of fact, while we on this trial, I swear, I will dig it up and I will go find where she say, I ain't scared, you know what I'm saying, of your goons. I ain't scared of you sending somebody. I know I will find that. I'm going to find it. The threats don't scare me. She used to be saying stuff like that, and it was like, it made me think of back then, because none of all this allegation, these sex parties, none of that was out here then. You know what I mean? None of this, the arson, blowing people's cars up, the threats, they were not really public yet. But it made me think of Tupac and the way that it's like, okay, because P. Diddy always say bad boys move in silence, meaning, gangsters move in silence, real G's move in silence. We know what, we know where that montage come from. It comes from mafia. It comes from gangsters. Like, even they portrayed that in Black Mass when Johnny Depp says, he told his son, you know why you got in trouble? He said, because I hit somebody. He said, nah, yeah, that's why you got in trouble. But do you know why you got in trouble? He said, because I forgot how he did it, but Johnny Depp basically told him, he said, if you hit him and then nobody see it, then it didn't happen. Meaning, if you hit him and he doesn't have proof that you hit him because ain't nobody see it, then how can they convict you of it? You know what I mean? And I just said that because of how P. Diddy used to portray, himself with this slogan, bad boys move in silence. But then to the public, when he get public, and the accusations come, you know what I'm saying? And then when the inquisitions, you know what I mean? When the inquisitions come, what was his response to those inquisitions? Man, brother love, man, I practice peace. I don't know. When they asked him on the Breakfast Club, hey man, they saying you killed Tupac. He said, man, I don't even entertain that. He ain't one of these goofy young looking for clout. Like, yeah, we did that. Indicting themselves with their own statement. You know what I mean? Before you even brought to justice, or before the case is even filed, they convict themselves self-snitching in interviews. P. Diddy is more groomed than that. His father was a Harlem kingpin. He was a Harlem drug dealer. Like, so he has learned some type of finesse. You know what I mean? He's learned some type of this the way to be. And you coming from Harlem, you got all these individual hustlers that came out, way ahead of his time. Fat Cat Nichols, Fat Cat. You had Nicky Barnes. You got various individuals that basically gave him a handbook on how to move in these streets, and then move amongst these elites. So you present a certain type of characteristic in front of these type of crowded individuals, then you act different amongst these, you know what I'm saying? With the elite, things brush off your shoulders, you act smooth, calculated, or whatever. But in the streets, you do the same. You act smooth and calculated, never let them see you sweat. Just like Frank Lucas. Frank Lucas did everything to show all his daily routine was the opposite of a drug dealer's life, a drug kingpin's lifestyle. He did everything to show that he was a regular, productive civilian. Like, he was a productive civilian, just a regular individual. That the image he wanted to portray. So when they say, hey, he's doing it, like, what? How would you figure that? I see him. He put flowers on his mother's gravesite every Tuesday. He goes to, his what's his mother? Not his mother. Oh, Bumpy. It was Bumpy. He put flowers on his every Tuesday. He takes his mother to the boutique in the bakery every Wednesday. He goes to church with his wife and his mother on Sunday. Like, everything he did was the opposite. It was to contradict if they was to bring these racketeering, drug smuggling charges against him. Like, this guy's a damn near, he's an old man. He's damn near a senior. He don't. Hey, people put the mask on.
The reality in a high-profile case like this. That's why, Jesse, there's always the courtroom, but there's the court of public opinion, and the latter does matter.
And you said it very well. We don't know what other videos might be shown. If you take the defense's perspective, I mean, they made an argument in a pretrial motion that the warrants were invalid in this case because they said if the judge who authorized these warrants, if the magistrate court authorized this warrant, saw all the video footage, they would say, wait a minute, I don't see anything illegal here. I think this is all consensual activity, whatever these sex acts that were captured on video. So it'll be interesting to see what is shown and which side it ultimately benefits. But going back to jury selection today, so you had another juror who apparently read an article.
3 signs your car accident is worth major compensation. If you've been in a car accident recently, there are 3 critical signs that could indicate your case is worth significant compensation, possibly even 6 or 7 figures. Sign number 1, insurance tried.
About the jury selection process. Going home from the courthouse yesterday, more specifically, who got excluded from jury service. They were looking to see who got excluded from jury service. Now, the judge today admonished this person, saying they weren't supposed to do that. And apparently the reporting indicates this might have been a lawyer or someone who was trained as a lawyer. If true, you definitely know you shouldn't do this. The court struck this juror, but Nima raises a larger question of how tough is it going to be to make sure whoever's impaneled on this jury doesn't talk about the case, doesn't research the case, isn't affected by the media coverage of it, or who's outside the courthouse. That's why I feel like you need so many alternates.
It's really a big problem, Jesse, and technology has just changed the game, right? Back in the day, you weren't getting all your news from your cell phone, right? You have to go home, you got to turn on the TV and watch the news. But we've seen it time and time again.
Say that old school reporter with Lester Hoyt and what was his name? He done retired. Oh man, what was it? I can't think of his name. I can't even think of the show he was on. But was it Kurt? No, Kurt Loder is MTV. I can't think of his name. He was big too. I want to say he was on CBS.
And it's becoming an increasing problem where a juror is Googling about the case, they're on social media, and
they can't stop
bringing
it.
Those outside facts and evidence into.
You can't stop it. It's too hard to persecute and put someone on trial that's high profile. This case is too high profile. It comes across shorts. If your algorithm, if they ever looked up a P. Diddy thing, it's gonna come across their algorithm. If they look up like anything, if they watch anything with court stuff, it's gonna come. This P. Diddy case is gonna come across your algorithm. If they watch anything with hip hop or R&B news, this P. Diddy case is gonna come across their algorithm. It's too hard not for them to avoid. It's too hard for them to avoid these things popping up on your social media, on all these social media platforms. On the phone, it's gonna pop up. And scrolling is so easy. And when you scroll, people get caught up in scrolling for an hour, 2-3 hours on hand. And you can't tell me the chances of this are coming up is very slim to none. No way.
To the courtroom. And like you said, a lawyer should absolutely know better. That's not what you're supposed to do. And that's how mistrials happen. So big issue right now. Now, how do you get around it? It's a question of the jury. But again, people already don't want to serve as jurors. Now you got to take their cell phones, confiscate them, separate them from their loved ones for 2 months. It's really a big imposition and a burden. So if you're the judge, you're hoping the jurors follow your instructions, whether they're on the panel, potential jurors, so you don't have.
They gotta take them phones. And just think, before they became jurors, prior to this, they've been exposed to. But at the same time, they gotta take the phones. That's the only way it will help the defense. That's the only thing gonna help P. Diddy in this situation. They need a fresh start on this case. The evidence presented in this case now, while it's going to trial, could potentially help him, because it might erase their memories from that Cassie Ventura case. They might erase their memory from all the rumors they heard about these sexual parties and the orgies and the sex trafficking, because all this new evidence may wash away what they already was thinking. Just like me, right? My impression of him running down Cassie Ventura in that hotel hallway was that he was in the shower and she was trying to escape while he was in the shower. But today, when I tapped on here and they say, oh, that's evidence that she was trying to escape a sex party, which I don't agree with. If you didn't see inside that room and what was going on in the contents, in the confines of that room, then we only can speculate. You know what I mean? That's not surefire proof. You only can speculate. But them saying that, it does make you kind of wonder, say, hey, this is evidence that she was running from one of those parties. No, it's not evidence, because it's not proven that there was the actual party. But it does make you wonder, like, man, he's in a robe. Was she running from a party? Because it makes you start to think, like, okay, but it kind of it makes it difficult, because when you say, okay, it was a sex party, when a person having sex and you tend to throw your clothes, you disrobe your clothes, and it's like, I don't know where they at. So when she leaves, does he go scrambling for his clothes that he don't know where they at? Because when you take your clothes off for sex, it's kind of like, after you got done with sex, you're like, damn, I want my drawers and my pants, or even the girl, she's looking for a blouse. I have, even in after sex, have grabbed like the girls, say like blouse or whatever, thinking it's like my tank top, and I grab it like, oh shit, what the hell? That ain't that. You know what I mean? Or like her shorts or whatever, thinking it was my boxer briefs because they're just black. I grabbed them like, and went to put my leg in, like, oh, these ain't mine. So it was like, does he scramble for his clothes, and she possibly gets further away? Because if she gets on that elevator, he finished for his catching her. He's out the race. Or was he really taking a shower? And when you take a shower, you disrobe, you're naked, you know what I mean? And you jump out. Was he moist? That's what they need to look at. Was he moist? Like, not oily. Was he water moist from a shower? Or was he oily moist? Believe me, with cases that's being presented in court, these lawyers or prosecutors, detectives, or whatever, these investigators, they gonna go through this evidence with a fine-tooth comb. They replay the tape, rewind it, play it over, till they see little, oh, look at this. They gonna look for indicators to point them in the right direction that make this case very solid for as a conviction or a non-conviction. So we just got to see what comes out. But I'm telling you, this case is gonna be one to watch. And I hate that we're not privy to the courtroom, because this is the biggest case. It's the biggest case. I would say is it bigger than OJ's? And that's a long ways away. You know what I mean? But it's pretty predominant, and you know what I mean? But we'll see.
This problem.
It's a lot to take into consideration.
It's a continuing problem because, of course, jurors have lives outside of that courtroom.
So, Nima, let's talk a little bit more about who made it through. So it's been reported that 19 prospective jurors made it through day one yesterday. And today, you had other jurors who made it through. And by that, what I mean is, and to be clear, these are not necessarily jurors who are going to ultimately sit on the jury. they are making up that panel of 45 or so jurors who then both the prosecution and the defense will strike and get down to the number of 12 jurors and 6 alternates. Again, I'll get to that a little bit more. But who made it through today? So you had one juror who made it through that was a student of psychiatry, is at Mount Sinai in surgical pathology, served as an expert witness in medical malpractice cases, indicated his son was beat up and had his cell phone stolen while in college, and was told that the crime was committed by 3 young black men. Both sides agreed, and so did the court, not to strike this juror. You have another potential juror who made it through.
Hold on. What the heck got to do with this case? Hold on.
In surgical pathology, served as an expert witness in medical malpractice cases, indicated his son was beat up and had his cell phone stolen while in college, and was told that the crime was committed by 3 young black men.
What that got to do with this?
Both sides agreed, and so did the court, not to strike this juror. You have another.
I don't understand what that got to do with this. I see if they were saying he was watching the P. Diddy video or whatever, but what that got to do with this? Because they was black, like his son ain't, him or his son ain't never had no interaction with blacks. You never had no altercation with him, bro. What's the issue? Because you had an altercation? That don't make sense. Not at all.
Another potential juror who made it through, someone who says they may be an elected officer to a union. His wife, according to him, was molested by a family member. And while he said he saw the CNN video, the Cassie video, and claimed that Diddy looked angry and hot.
They're quietly giving out $5,800 spending cards, but only to those who act fast. Will you be one of them? The Gov owes you $5,800, but if you don't claim it, it's gone forever. If you are struggling with groceries, gas, rent, or bills, you need to listen to what I have to say. Literally right now, they're quietly handing out these $5,800 spending cards to
hostile and entitled. He's molested by a family member. And while he said he saw the CNN video, the Cassie video, and claimed that Diddy looked angry and hostile and entitled, he said he could be fair. You had another juror who claimed that he would lose 30% of his income if he had to serve on an 8-week trial, but indicated he could survive it. Also told the court that his wife is suing his landlord for repairs. It's important to know of any legal issues they may have. And also claimed that he has friends who have been assaulted. That person moving forward. Another potential juror is a security guard, has seen the Cassie tape, found it disturbing, but indicated could be fair. She was let in. We have a child neglect social worker.
So is they just asking them how they seen the Cassie tape? Nah, I'm sorry. I don't even know why I said that, because I know damn well they're not on there just asking, have you seen the Cassie tape? No, they asking them do they have any knowledge of P. Diddy being charged with, the lawsuits? They ask, I'm very certain they asking them all that and combing through those questions and making sure this jury is, on both sides. On both sides, because both sides had to agree for they move the juror forward and not get a strike. And I think they only get so many strikes.
Coming in too. We have another juror who was let in over the prosecution's objection, by the way, who claimed that he had negative interactions with the police, including over stolen sneakers, claimed that the police didn't look enough into it. Also said on another occasion an officer allegedly pushed him during a house party that was being shut down. So Nima, do you get a sense about what both sides want here in terms of jurors?
I do. Obviously, if you're the defense, you want strong-willed jurors. Ideally, you want someone who's a fan, someone who's skeptical of these types of allegations. This is a gross...
What do you mean, a fan? I don't get it. He's saying you...
If you're the defense, you want strong-willed jurors. Ideally, you want someone who's a fan, someone who's skeptical of these types of allegations. This is a gross generalization.
Oh, I think he's referring to the defense. He wants somebody that's a little fanned out. You know what I mean? So they lean towards Diddy's side a little more than, convicting him giving him a guilty verdict on these charges. I didn't catch it at first, but you know what I'm saying. It didn't make when he was saying that he wants somebody kind of fanned out. Like, for what? I think a lot of his fans are people that or enjoy his music. I wouldn't say so much fans, because fans are probably gonna side with him right or wrong. People that's privy to his music and you know, they know his career, kind of followed it a little bit. I don't think they'll really be skeptical of the charges and be more in the favor of P. Diddy. I think they would really weigh it out, like, you know, or be disgusted, like, man, this guy, man, you know, it could be a little jealousy and envy in there too. You know how people are for as individuals that have so much or have more than them. They could be kind of envious and like, I'm glad for him to take this fall now. You know, glad for individuals when they finally fall off their high horse, and it's like, it's our chance to kick him while he's down. Let's get him back. You know what I mean? Cause you've been on this high horse for like 30 years, and now you just knocked off, and it's like they stripped you of all your privileges. It don't matter how big your house is, what luxury cars you own. You know what I mean? How many times you boarded a private jet? How many times you've been to Dubai, Winnebago, crawl around the world? It doesn't matter. They knocked you right down, and now you're just a regular individual, because the money don't mean nothing in the situation he's in. You know what I mean? He doesn't have no reach. He has no influence. He can't persuade nothing. The lawyers got to do the fighting for him. He can't he can't even speak. You got to sit back and be quiet until he's addressed by the court. It's a different playing field. He's not on the mound as the pitcher no more. You know what I mean? Now he's sitting sideline watching his team play against another team, if you will. If I could use a metaphor, it's like his team of lawyers are one baseball team, and the district attorney that represent the state is another baseball team, and all he could do is sit back. He can, you know, give his team, you know, inside information or whatever to how he want them to play on the field. But they're professionals. He can just give them the information. They're gonna play it how they want to. You know what I mean? They're gonna play it how they want to because they're the professionals. This is what they do. They're not making music, so they don't need him to chime in. They don't need his professional opinion. This is not music. We're not leasing record deals here. You know what I mean? We're cross-examining. We're, you know, all these court terms and things. You know what I'm saying? That goes on in the courtroom. That's the game they're playing. That's the field they're on. So they have to level the playing field and give themselves, you know, an equal opportunity at winning this ball game. And at some point you try to advance. You know, when you see the opposing team has kind of failed, they taking a, you know, we went from trailing them to now we in the lead.
But the conventional wisdom in some of these sexual assault cases is you want older conservative female jurors, people that would not put themselves in that situation. Those are the types of jurors, whether it's a Weinstein or a Cosby type case, might be skeptical of these allegations. I believe the victims, but there are some people when these types of allegations are raised years, sometimes decades later, they don't believe it, or they say, you know what, you decided to voluntarily, you know, associate with a music mogul like Diddy. You were trying to further your career. You were getting paid. This wasn't something that was forced upon you. This wasn't someone that was coerced. This is not sex trafficking. You did the drugs voluntarily. So there's a certain type of profile that the defense lawyers are going to like. And obviously, if you're the prosecution, you don't want those types of jurors. You want people that are going to kind of go along, and someone that's going to be more likely to believe the consistent testimony of what you believe. There's multiple victims telling the same story.
And Nima, just because somebody has experience with sexual assault or harassment, or has negative interactions with law enforcement, or has seen a piece of evidence in this case, does it make them automatically disqualified from serving? And that's interesting, right? That might be surprising to people.
Not necessarily. Like you said, if they can convince the court.
Are you drowning in payday loan debt? Have you taken out multiple payday loans and are unable to pay them back? Then listen to this message closely. A recently announced payday loan forgiveness program is allowing Americans with payday loan debts to be forgiven by as much as 80% of the balance owed. This program is only available for a limited period of time. We strongly advise you to call in now to see if you qualify for this limited time offer. If you fall behind on your payday loan payments, the creditors will contact your employer and pull money directly out of your paycheck, put a lien on your house or vehicles, and hassle you with collections calls every day. To put an end to your payday loan debt problems, click on the link below and see if you qualify for the Payday Loan Debt Forgiveness Program. It takes less than 30 seconds to see if you qualify. If you do qualify, we recommend you call right away, as calls are taken on a first-come, first-served basis. We understand that payday loans can be a lifesaver when you're in a bind, but they can also be very expensive and impossible to pay off due to their predatory interest. This new program will help to get you back on your feet and out of debt. Don't waste your money or time. Click on the link below right now to see if you